Mitosis is the growth and repair of cells and creates two identical daughter cells, while in meiosis, it allows us to reproduce sexually and creates four genetically different daughter cells. Let's begin with mitosis in a human. As we get closer and under the skin and then into the cell, let's look at the 23 chromosomes that are inside a human cell. All of these chromosomes contain DNA. First, the cell expands. Then the DNA begins to replicate during interphase. The chromosomes condense during prophase. Then, during metaphase, the sister chromatin line up along the metaphase plate. The centrioles found on two opposite sides of the cell formed during prophase before the sister chromatin lined up along the metaphase plate. The spindles formed and attached to the middle of each chromosome during prophase as well. These spindles allowed the sister chromatin to move along them, then line up along the metaphase plate. I'll draw them in now. Now we have all the sister chromatin lined up along the metaphase plate. During anaphase, the spindles attached to each sister chromatin begin to pull back, splitting the sister chromatin, pulling them to a different side of the cell and stretching the cell at the same time, as so. After anaphase comes telophase, where the cell splits, leaving two daughter cells that are identical to the parent cell. This cell just repaired itself, possibly repairing damaged muscle cells that my brother pulled during marching band practice. Now mitosis is used strictly for the growth and repair of cells. If it were used to be sexual reproduction, it'd be kinda scary. Since it produces two identical cells, it'd be like another me growing off the original me, then popping off, creating two me's walking around the world. Kind of scary, huh? Let's take a look at meiosis. It's used for sexual reproduction. We'll take a look at all the genetic variation involved. Meiosis starts off the same way as mitosis. DNA replication during interphase. Here's where meiosis differs from mitosis. Here in metaphase 1, homologous pairs align along the metaphase plate, instead of the sister chromatin. I'll explain what the homologous pairs are in this scenario. In this scenario, the green and blue chromosomes come from mom, while the purple and orange chromosomes come from dad. A homologous pair is a chromosome of mom matched with the same sized chromosome from dad. They come together to form what is called a tetrad. What happens now is a term we call crossing over. This creates even more genetic variation. This is where the mom and dad chromosome wrap together so tightly that they swap some DNA. We already distinguished that the green and blue come from mom and the purple and orange come from dad. But here's a fun little meiosis joke while we wait for all these chromosomes to cross over. How do you tell a male chromosome from a female chromosome? Wait for it. Do you know? You pull down its genes. Get it? Genes? Here in metaphase 1 is where independent assortment may occur. This also adds more variation to the gametes it produces, accounting for the genetic variation in humans. Independent assortment is all the different ways that homologous pairs can align along the metaphase plate. This is one way. In anaphase 1, in meiosis, homologous pairs break apart and move to opposite ends of the cell. In telophase 1, the cell splits, each containing one homologous pair. Getting back to the topic of independent assortment, after we complete this meiosis, I'll show you another way that homologous pairs may align, though there are plenty of different ways they can align. For time's sake, I'll only show you these two different ways and the different gametes produced. In prophase 2, the DNA condenses once again, preparing for the second metaphase. Let me make my cells a little bigger so I can demonstrate this. During metaphase 2 of meiosis is exactly what happens during metaphase in mitosis. The sister chromatid align along the metaphase plate as so. Just as before, the centriole and spindle appear during prophase 2, but let me draw them in now. Now, during anaphase 2, the sister chromatids split, the spindle pulling them to the ends of the cell, just as what happened in the anaphase of mitosis. In telophase 2 of meiosis, the two cells split, creating 4 genetically different daughter cells. Note that each of these daughter cells will have half the number of chromosomes as the parent cell. And that is one example of meiosis. Here we're starting at metaphase 1 of the second meiosis example, focusing on independent assortment. So we'll switch around a few homologous pairs to represent the different ways they may align. Just as all the other times, let me draw on the centriole and the spindle. Anaphase 1 homologous pairs move to the ends of the cell. Here we have telophase 2, where the cell splits, each containing one homologous pair as before. Once again, during metaphase 2, the sister chromatin line up along the metaphase plate. Once again, let me draw the centriole and the spindle attaching to the sister chromatin in each of the cells. Just as before, the sister chromatid split and moved to the end of the cell in anaphase 2. Now we have telophase 2, where the two cells split, creating 4 genetically different daughter cells once again. And don't forget, they each have half the number of chromosomes as the parent cell. Take a good look at these 4 different gametes produced during this meiosis. And let me switch back to the 4 different gametes produced before we incorporated independent assortment. They both produce different gametes, proving genetic variation. The 4 gametes on the left side are from the first meiosis, the one on the right from the second after independent assortment. It's obvious these 4 are different than the first 4. There are many other different ways that homologous pairs can align along the metaphase plate, creating even more genetic variation among humans. The purpose of these pictures is to demonstrate all of the variation among humans. No human is the same, thanks to meiosis. Just a refresher, meiosis is used for sexual reproduction and creates 4 different daughter cells, accounting for genetic variation. The daughter cells will have half the number of chromosomes as the parent cell. Meiosis is necessary for humans and any other sexually reproducing organisms because of the fusion of two gametes. Mitosis produces two daughter cells that are identical to the parent cell. This cell division allows us humans to grow and repair damaged cells, such as muscles.